first of all, can you give me an idea about how long you've worked in the pottery industry, the types of places you worked and the types of jobs you did, please?
Well, I worked in the pottery industry over a span of 40 years. I worked in Johnson's Alex. I started off as a 15-year-old in Johnson's Alex in Tunstall, and I worked in different pottery firms all around the firm and finished off in Steelite down in Middleport.
Can you tell me, tell us a bit about your life working in the pot banks then? How long did you work in the pot banks? Where did you work and what was the type of thing you did?
Well, I started off as a dish sponger on Johnson's Alex in Tunstall, and from there I went on to be a caster sponger on W.H. Grinley's, a flat sponger, and I did most of flat sponging then up to finishing on Steelite down in Dale Hall.
So kind of how many years did you spend working in?
Oh, over 40 years.
So can you tell us then, I know it's very difficult to kind of surmise every different factory, but can you tell me what was the kind of atmosphere like in a pottery factory?
I think at the beginning of working in the pot bank it was far better, because they had a class of people that when you worked with them you were friendly, more friendly, especially the ladies that when I worked on I worked at Wade Heath in Bearsall. We used to cast a sponger on there, and it was a place was pretty quiet because you couldn't have a radio at that time on there, so we used to sing. So any songs that were in the pop charts at that time we would sing together, like, you know. Yeah, it was really good.
What was that like then in terms of encouraging a positive atmosphere, being able to sing with your colleagues, and what was that like?
Well, you can never get the songs right, and everybody got the wrong words, so you used to laugh, you know, it used to make it was really funny, yeah.
In terms of kind of the atmosphere, aside from kind of like it being a happy atmosphere, but in terms of the kind of actual physical atmosphere, was it noisy, was it dirty, what was it physically like to be working?
Oh, it's physically hard work, dirty hard work as well, I mean, yeah, physically, because the work that we worked on, if I'm talking like Wade Heath, you would have to pick up boards of work onto your shoulder from out of a stillage, and there may maybe be, I don't know, maybe 24 pieces on that board, or even 30 pieces you'd have to carry to the bench that you worked on. So that was, you know, a lot of work during the day. You did that.
And were attitudes different towards yourself then, because you're a woman, and were attitudes different towards women in the pottery factories, you know, sort of like 30 years ago?
Not at that time, not where I worked. We were pretty good. I mean, there were casters, and there were casters, lady casters as well. So the places I worked, not really, no.
There was never any notion that you were treated any differently because you're a woman or anything like that?
No, I never felt that.
And what about, were you aware of were there any kind of pay differences or anything like that?
Well, we never discussed pay. What you earned was yours. You were piecework. You worked by piece, so whatever you earned was your money. So everybody worked differently, you know.
It's quite interesting that you mentioned piecework, and it's something we picked up the other day. Can you kind of explain to the uninitiated or the bickos like myself, what was piecework? What did that mean?
Well, for every piece that you what you did, I'll give you an example for flat sponging. I used to work with a maker, and he would make round about, say, 5,000 pieces a day, and I would have to tow 5,000 pieces a day within that 8-hour limit. So for every piece you earn, that's your wage.
That coffee prominence.
Yeah, very.
Okay, I'm going to do that one again, if that's all right, Sheila, as well, because piecework is something that's quite interesting for us. So can you just tell us a little bit, for the uninitiated, what was piecework?
Well, for every piece you earned, what you work for, I'll give you an example on that. The maker that I worked with when I was a tower, he'd have to make, say, maybe 5,000 pieces of work a day, and I would have to tow the work, that's smoothing the plate on a machine. And for every piece we earned, that was your wage. So if you did less than that, you'd have less wages. If you did more, it all depended on the day. Sometimes you'd have a good day.
So what did that make how did that affect the environment then when you were working like that? Did it competitive at all?
Yeah.
Can you tell us how do you feel it sort of affected the environment?
It could be competitive, but no, you just got on with your work, you know. It wasn't just that either. Sometimes you'd have a maker that it all depended on the work as well. You could have somebody have harder work for toe or easier work for toe, so it all depended. So sometimes you would got complaints from other women that you've got the best work, but that's how it was. But what was given to you at the time.
What was that fun? I will explain why I've got a bit of a cough. I need to say this to everybody so I don't get coughing fit with it. What was that last sentence? Sorry, Sheila.
Can't remember, what did I say?
Did you pick it up at all? Oh, it's okay. I'll have to stop coughing. Were you part of a union at all?
Yes.
Okay. What was the effect of the union in a pottery factory, and how did that kind of like help you?
Well, you can always go to the union man if you got a problem, and which I did over a few times. That you know, within the work that we did, but they were there for you, and they were there very good to help you as well. We used to go over to Anley if we got any problems, and at the end of the working life that I did work in, that they give me a enormous help because I had to finish through Tina Sanivitis contact with the work I did.
So, in what kind of, I know you touched upon it, but in what ways were the union able to help workers, and what kind of things did they do to sort of like assist you?
Well, they used to notify us of anything that was going on. You could go to with a problem any time, and you know they were there for you. That's, you know, they were just there for you when you needed them, for any problem, any problem.
And was it a big thing? Were most workers involved in the union then? Did you find it was kind of like a popular thing to be part of the union?
Yes, majority of people were a part of the union, yeah.
Fantastic. You obviously worked kind of quite a few years, so by my reckoning, did you say about 30 years in pottery?
It was between 35 and 40,
35,
yeah.
In your time kind of working in the pottery industry, how did things change?
Well, mechanical really. I mean, I started off as a young girl working by hand, making my own tools, making my own... I'd have to explain about how I worked at that time. We used to have to make his own roll of clay to put the dish on. I'd have to make my own tools. So it's massive difference. And I know that as well, we had what they call a missus over the shop, and you respected her as a missus over the shop. That was the difference than it is today. You had someone with that little bit of authority, but she knew what she was doing.
Was it almost like a kind of matriarchal
Yeah,
thing?
yeah, it was, yeah. And you respected her as well. Yeah, you respected her.
It'd be nice to kind of draw that out to hear that from your own voice. So you felt that, what was she, sorry, the missus?
We called her Mrs. She was a Mrs. over the dish shop, or to be a Mrs. over the toes. Her name was Jessie, a real name, but she would be called Mrs. She'd be Mrs. over the toes, or Mrs. over the casting shop, or Mrs. over the flat shop.
And you felt that she was almost like a matriarch?
At the beginning, when I started work, yes, she taught me. You see, at that time, you had 6-week training. You didn't have a week training. You had 6-week training. They trained you how to work, how to use your tools, how to, yeah. And she was very good.
And there was a matriarchal figure kind of
yes.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
And you mentioned kind of mechanisation,
yeah.
But then we kind of moved away from that, and it's quite interesting to touch upon that then. Yeah. So how did kind of like mechanisation and things like that, how did they affect you over the years, and what changes did they make to the workplace?
Well, starting at the beginning, I worked by hand, so everything I did was just by hand. So, but as you move on, and even cast a sponging was by hand, but when I went into the flat, working with flatware, then that's machinery. So you're working, I ended up working on a 3-headed machine that rotated continually for, I don't know, maybe 10 seconds. I couldn't work out how many seconds that they worked on the rotation, you know, because it's a while since I worked there. But, you know, you did so many an hour. You did so many an hour.
Did that kind of gradual mechanisation and change the workplace, did that affect the atmosphere at all?
Yes, it did, yeah. Because you didn't have time then. You never had that personal work. Your work didn't work all together then. You worked separately. So you didn't have that person, only the maker that you worked with.
a few people have mentioned to us kind of like health and safety over the years kind of changed. Did you notice any kind of changes to people's attitude towards health and safety in the workplace?
Yes, you did, yeah. You know, they're making you wear things. I mean, we all knew that, you know, that you have to wear things for you're protective. We do know that. But the working conditions that sometimes that you were in were so hot that, you know, the overalls, that some of them were thick. And, I mean, as a young girl, I used to have this big orange apron.
Just wait until, is that Emma asking for you?
I don't forget now, what was that last question?
Oh, I'll ask you again,
Yeah.
because it was quite interesting what you were saying. So, Sheila, over the years, how do you feel that attitudes towards health and safety changed in the workplace?
Oh yes, that was it, I remember now. The overalls that we used to wear years ago were very thick, and so the places that I worked in were very hot. So besides it being very hot, you had to wear this overall as well, but at the beginning, we used to have these big red aprons, very thick rubber aprons. So if you can imagine this overall with the apron, plus I worked above the kiln. So you got the heat from the kiln below under your feet, and it used to draw your feet. So at the end of the day, your feet used to kill you. You'd be red hot at the end of the day.
It doesn't sound very comfortable.
No.
Moving on, so did you, I mean, because we're obviously making this film about women working in ceramics, what kind of a contribution do you feel women made to the workplaces that you worked in then? How significant was the role of women in the workplace?
The women run the pot banks, really. The women looked after the makers. Yeah. The women run the pot banks.
They were quite important then?
Very important, yeah.
When you say so when they run them, what was their kind of role then? How were they kind of running them and why were they important?
Well, they used to look at, they used to look after the friends that they work with. They would look after the maker, make sure that the maker was fine. And it was just the whole environment around there. You know, you've got to, when you're working long hours every day, the atmosphere has to be right. So it has to be a nice atmosphere that you work in.
And do you feel that kind of having a large proportion of the workplace being women, do you think that helped to do that because they were women?
No, because we used to have, you know, just the guys were all right, you know, as well. I mean, we used to have fun with the men. Yeah, it was a good working place. I worked on a lot of pot banks that were really nice to work with. And people work with the people as well. And coming to the end of the working lifespan of working on a pot bank, the difference back in the 60s and 70s was far different at the end. Less time for one another.
I think that's just a general kind of change in society, to some extent it seems like. What do you kind of, now you're, that's because you're retired, you do so much,
No.
What do you kind of miss now you're not working 9 to 5 on a pot bank? What do you kind of miss about that kind of the industry?
Well, I miss the friends that, let me start again.
Yes,
Well, I miss the friends that we work with, because I work with a lot of nice people over the years. A lot of people have died that we were very friendly with. So I do miss that part, the friendships that we had. But now and again I can be walking around the town and perhaps see somebody that we did work together. I mean, a lady stopped me the other week and she knew me, I didn't know her, but she remembered me from 1975 and, you know, and then her face came to me, you know, but yeah, it's just the friendship of the people that we worked with over the years. Yeah.
It must have been wonderful to build those kind of relationships whereby, you know, sort of like 30 years down the line, people will stop you in the street and recognise you. It must still mean a lot to you. Does it? Kind
it does, yeah, because we were just friends. We were just friendly friends, and good friends as well, you know, and they stick up for you as well. If you, I'll give you an example on that. When I used to work together, we worked together, and I worked on a one-headed machine then, working in the flat department. And we'd work together, and at the end of the shift that we worked, if the lady if the girl on the next bench, if she had work the same as me, I would help her finish. If I'd finished my work, I'd help her finish her. That's how we were. We would help one another. So, so that we could finish on time, and she finished on time, I used to help her finish her work. Or she'd do the same for me. That's how it would be.
Fantastic. That's a good place to finish at. I'll do one more question and then we'll finish.
Yeah.
So did you kind of consider what you did then? Did you consider it a creative job, or was it just a job to you? How did you feel about it?
I think at the beginning it was, because when I started off as a young girl, I made my own tools, I made my own platter. We used to work on rolled out clay to work with dishes. You didn't have no thing to put on. I mean, they do now, but then everything was made. I made it myself. And yes, at the beginning was more creative than it is now. Now it's just a machine you go on and the machine does it for you.
And was kind of working in the pottery industry, was it something that you were proud to do and proud to be a part of? And if so, why were you kind of proud to be part of this industry?
I was very proud to be. I'm very proud to be a pot bank. Yeah, very proud, because you're looking back over the years and you see how the changes have gone over the years. Looking back at my mother when she was a girl and when I was a girl, and seeing what it is now. Yeah, I was proud to be a pot bank worker. Yeah, very proud.
Fantastic. That was amazing, Sheila. Thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah, good.
When you stand up, mind your head on the mic.